We'll go ahead and get going with manager Bud Black. Thomas Harding, why don't you start us off?
All right. First of all, I guess I want to go back to the seventh inning. You go to Estevez, and that fly ball that Tapia ends up making a catch. Can you take me through that one, please?
Well, we had a hard time getting through the seventh. Had to use 3 pitchers, but what a play by Tapia. Carlos made a good pitch to the pinch hitter Young, jammed him. From my perspective, I thought it was going to fall. We see a lot of those fall in this park, as you guys know. Big outfield, but Tap got a great jump. One of the better plays I've seen, considering the circumstances, do or die play, bases loaded, and gained ground a ton at the end. What a play.
Yes, and also you're able to go to Estevez today, who was pitching pretty well before he went on the IL. What did you see out of him, and what are the possibilities for that guy?
Well, he's got a big arm, as you know. He's been here for a number of years, and we've seen outstanding performance, and we've seen a little bit of variability too. But I think, mentally and physically, he's in a good spot. He hasn't pitched in a couple of weeks due to the pulley finger, but we got him a simulated inning in San Diego through with the Albuquerque team. We felt he was ready to rejoin us. You hate to put a guy right in the fire after not pitching, for that long, especially with the bases loaded, but he responded. He's got the velocity, I think, back to where, his normal is, anywhere from, 95, 96, 97, good tight slider and good change. So he's got 3 weapons we feel can, get him through an inning or 2. We need him, as we've talked about. Our bullpen's been inconsistent. Daniel recovered after the leadoff double. Carlos had a good, very, very crisp 8th inning. And Yency and Michael struggled. So we've talked about that before. We need the guys in the pen to string appearances together at good outings. And the last couple of weeks, it's been too inconsistent, too variable.
Last one from me. A lot of the younger guys are getting their opportunity, but in the 6th, after they tied the game, some of the guys that you've been depending on that have been around really kind of stepped up offensively between Story, Blackman, and Drone. Can you discuss how they need to lead some of the younger guys here?
You're right. I think that, after the Diamondbacks tied the game, Trev led off with the double, down the line, and Chuck hit the big home run. Crone got a base hit. Fuentes trying to get him over. Got rewarded with that blooper. But again, we're going to go consistently. Probably as far as Trev and Chuck do their thing, and Crone pitching in, and Tapia and Mac, supplying some good at bats too, and being productive. But I think Chuck and Trev set such a great example of how to play this game, how to take at bats that the other guys can feed off that, and those 2 guys will be able to take a little pressure off the lesser service time guys.
Patrick Saunders, go ahead.
Hi, buddy. A couple questions for you. First, regarding Tap, we've talked so much over the last few seasons about his development as an outfielder, about his angles, about his reads, etc. I know this is just one very, very good play, but the jump he got on that ball, the way he read it, etc. Is that symbolic, if you will, of how far he's come, or am I making too much?
Well, like I've said before, I think he's made incremental progress on his defense. We'll still see some things here and there that, lead us to believe there's room to improve, but we've also seen wide-ranging plays from him. There was a play in Arizona earlier in the year wide-ranging play, diving catch. We've seen the diving catch from Tap, both to his left and to his right, and coming in. I think that's his strength is on the ball in, because he has good closing speed. And we've seen him throw some guys out too. So it's a combination of the early work that we do, obviously before the fans get here at 3 o'clock, 3:30 with Giddy, and he puts the time in. Giddy puts him through the paces. He practices, and there's always constant communication between Giddy and the outfield as far as positioning to give those guys the best opportunity to make a play based on what our straight charts are telling us. So he's improving. It's incremental, and I think he's going to continue to improve and gain confidence. Right? He made that play, full bore, and it wasn't tentative. Right? He knew it was at stake. He knew what was at stake there. If that ball drops, they get 2 runs. They take the lead. That was a game-saving play.
And my other question for you, buddy, is Madison Bumgarner came into this game as one of the hottest pitchers in all of baseball. The numbers were really, really good. Your guys' approach, I mean, he struggles here, of course, but it seemed to me your guys' approach against him was really good today. Can you comment on that?
Well, again, no secrets. We know what he's going to do. There'll be some unpredictable pitches that you have to have because you face a team so many times, especially guys like Charlie and Chuck, who he's faced a ton. A lot of the other guys he hasn't faced a lot. But, what he did today was really attack the strike zone and pounded the strike zone. His ball strike ratio was great, especially through the first 5 innings. We got fortunate a little bit. Brendan blipped one in with guys on second and third. They made a couple they made a couple fundamental mistakes that helped us, but I thought his stuff was good, but to your point, I thought our approach was good too. He didn't walk anybody, and the strikeouts were down. We put the ball in play, we made him work, even though through the first 5 innings he was on pace to 15 pitches an inning or so, but he competes. He's got a unique angle to where he releases the ball. His stuff still has life in the hitting area, but I thought we had a good plan tonight. This afternoon going in against him.
Thank you, buddy.
Yep. I would go to Danielle.
Hi, buddy. Since that game with Daniel Bard in Arizona earlier this month, when you both said you guys took a look at what he was doing and made a couple small adjustments, what improvements have you seen from him since then?
Well, we moved him a little bit to the rubber, more in the middle. I think that, I think philosophically, my message to Daniel was to, be on the attack. Don't get behind hitters, you get great stuff. You be the pursuer, you go after them. I think that's helped him. Again, I think he's sort of gone back to his strengths and maybe not pitching so much to a scouting report. He's very bright. He's very intuitive. He's very student-like when it comes to the opposition. And sometimes I can get in the way of really, pitching to your strengths. But, a lot of, it wasn't anything major, Danielle. It was more, for me, philosophical and, maybe a slight movement on, where his right foot is on the rubber.
Thank you.
I would go to Ed Henderson. Ed?
Hey, buddy, congratulations on winning the series. Let's get that sweep tomorrow, huh?
I'm with you, Ed. Yes, we're looking forward to tomorrow, back-to-back day games. The guys will have a good night tonight, get rested up and be ready to go tomorrow with Diamondbacks. Again, there are no secrets. They got, a lot of guys that we've seen before. They know us. They have some young players in there as well. They're a little banged up, but again, through all this, they're a team that, a few weeks ago was playing really, really well. So hopefully we can, get them tomorrow. Hopefully John can, do his thing and do what Sensa and Marquez did is, put some zeros up early and our offense can, get after their guy.
Buddy, I know it's a small sample size, very small, but if you can, defensively, offensively, give us your assessment on Brendan Rodgers.
Well, you're right. It's, it's a small sample, but I like, what we're seeing defensively. Made a really good play last night. Today, not much for him. But we've seen enough of Brendan in spring training and just a little bit of time he's been here, but he's pretty sure-handed. He's got a strong arm, which is going to help him. So defensively, he'll continue to work with Stu every day and understand the speed of the major league game as opposed to a minor league game. We'll continue to coach him and help him on the defensive side of it. Offensively, 8 at-bats, we got the base hit down the right field line. Again, I got to look at that pitch, but it looked to be a pretty good piece of hitting where he went with it. And he got jammed by Bumgarner on a fastball up and in, looped it into right, and that showed some strength to be able to do that. So there's strength to a swing. Hasn't quite squared one up yet. That's coming. We think he's going to hit. But, it's going to be a process for Brendan. It's going to be, a situation where, he continues to learn each and every day. Like with Hampson and Fuentes and Daza, some of these other fellas, they'll get their starts and continue to grow, hopefully, as really solid major league players.
And buddy, last one for me, the 6th inning today, I would think would be great instruction for some of the younger players to see the situation where the D-backs put 3 runs on the board and then you come back and respond in the bottom of the inning and work over Bumgarner with 4 runs. That's got to be good for those young guys to be part of that.
Well, our guys, I think are always relentless. And, they stay on the attack offensively. That was good to see how we bounced back. But I've seen that before from, Rockies teams since I've been here. And again, I think it starts from a trailing shot. They know games here are never over. You've got to keep having on. You got to keep having great at bats. And I think that gets instilled to our younger players as well. But to your point, it's good to see that, we did it, and for our younger service time players to see that happen.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay.
All right, a couple more, buddy. Kevin Henry, go ahead.
Yeah, buddy, I was just going to ask you about Antonio today and then what you saw from him right at the tail end of his performance as well.
Well, again, sort of like Marquez, wasn't real sharp, but I thought he made some really good pitches with his fastball in the early part of the game. The ball strike ratio wasn't great. He didn't walk guys, but there were some 3-0 counts, Kevin, some 3-1 counts, but he ended up making a pitch, to get his outs. I thought that was sort of the key to his game, that, he didn't get in and throw the ball down the middle. He made some really good pitches, I thought, on the inside corner to their lefties. And that, as you know, they had, 7 left-handed hitters and Nick on, and that was it. And same with Marquez last night. They can throw some lefties at you. So it can be a little bit harder for some of our guys that, have that right on the right breaking ball. But, I think in the 6th, I thought he was, wavering a little bit. He got some pitches up. And they served him, I think the leadoff hitter served him in the left field on the high breaking ball. That was a telling sign for me. The next hitter, again, another breaking ball up in the strike zone, base hit. And then the double by Reddick. I thought at that point he had hit the wall. So that's why we went to Kinley. But, he battled without, maybe his best command of the ball, except when he really needed it through the first 5 innings.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Tracy?
Buddy, when you look at young pitchers like a guy like Kinley, and he comes into the game, bases loaded, first thing that happens is an error, run scores. How pleased are you to see the way he can bounce back from that and not get distracted by what he had no control over?
Well, the thing about Tyler, Trace, that we like is his poise and his, overall maturity. He's a little bit older, even though he has less than right around 100 innings of big league experience as a under his belt. 100 innings is not a lot, but this guy's got a really good head on his shoulders. He maintains his poise, maintains his focus. So I know that type of stuff, doesn't bother him. He gets back to the task at hand. So, I can always rely on him not to be emotional and to be, very well played.
Thank you.
All right, two more Patrick Lyons, and we'll finish up with that one. Patrick, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, from the bullpen to the mound, what was the issue essentially for Almonte, and the quick turnaround time on Givens having to warm up? How much of a factor do you think that was in maybe losing control of the strike zone and walking those two batters at the end of his outing?
Well, I think with Yency, it was just a matter of pitch location. I got to look at the video, but I think too, if we recount his inning, the first hitter, got hit 0-2, and then he threw a low breaking ball below the strike zone. But Smith sort of had a funny swing and got enough of it to loop it into left field. So I mean that's good hitting. It's part of this game. It's part of baseball. It happens. Then Rojas, he hit the ball off the wall. That pitch was intended to be down and away, and sort of right into his wheelhouse, down and in. And then Estevez hit a ball sort of middle end. That's into his sweet spot too. So Yency just didn't make it. He didn't hit his spots. Simple as that from the line. With Michael, again, we monitor when a guy warms up, how many pitches he needs. We're in constant contact with Darryl Scott about, are they ready? If not, how many more pitches do you need? That's why you'll see mound visits. That's why you'll see throwers to first base, to make sure that the reliever is ready and hot and is ready to go. So, and usually the phone rings, or we'll have contact with the bullpen to make sure is our pitcher ready? And then Darryl's response is yes, he's ready. So it's pretty simple. So when you see these things happening, we do not bring guys in until they signal to the bullpen coach that they're ready. And why off today, couldn't really land the change up, and the fastball was sprayed a little bit too. Got a break with the line drive double play. I thought that might give him a little boost, but he got the looping base hit by both of the two walks. He couldn't get that change up or the fastball strikes him.
Owen, go ahead with the last question.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up on the Tapia catch. Obviously you mentioned, I think he was going all out, and it's always some risk in a play like that.
Sure.
What do you say to players, or your coaches say to players, about evaluating that risk and going for a play like that without the risk that's involved in it?
Well, that's part of coaching and knowing the scoreboard, right? I think these things are taught at every level, whether it's high school, whether it's college, whether it's the minor leagues, whether it's in the big leagues. The scoreboard, and the number of outs tell you so often what to do on certain types of balls that are hit. There are certain balls that you do not take chances on. You play them on a hop, and you go after the next hitter. Like I said, depending on the score, depending on the inning, depending on the outs, all those things. In this particular case, this was warranted for Tap. Go all out and make a play. This, like I said, that saved the inning, that saved the Diamondbacks from taking the lead, and the risk reward was worth it for us, especially, I think, Tap knowing himself. I think his strength was on that type of play, charging the ball straight out. And that is something that, again, like I said earlier, tremendous closing speed. He had a great jump on the ball. The ball at times hangs up here a little bit more. And Sure enough, he was able to make a great play. It was an outstanding play. It was game set.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, buddy.
guys all.
Everyone, we're gonna have Antonio Sensatello for you right now if you want to get your hands raised for